We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us.
So, but Walt, what's your classic? What's your first classic? Like just like when you realized, right? Like when you realized like a movie was a classic, you was like, can you remember like your first classic movie?
Yeah, I think you said it, man.
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
I watched that when I was like 7, 8 years old. So I had no business watching it, but I watched. What you mean? I mean, you ain't old enough, but
7, 8 years old.
That's for 7-year-old.
That's young, man. That's real young.
Nah, it ain't.
Yeah, it's real young.
I watched
Malcolm X.
But Malcolm X was the movie I know that I watched. I feel like the main things that it was like my parents were really big on like knowing your history and studying, what went wrong back in the day. And it was dope seeing this story because it was a dude who was so left, and then you see his transformation happen, and then you see his pursuit of truth. Mm-hmm. Like as I'm a kid, I'm not really thinking of all that.
Right.
As a kid, I'm just thinking like, this is crazy. This dude went through this. He went through this. He went through this. I'm seeing all this, but like, I couldn't front like Denzel. I really thought Denzel, when I was a scrub, was Malcolm X till I got a little older. And then I was like, okay, this the dude, like, and I understood it more and everything. But yeah, definitely Malcolm X. Definitely.
And then to speak on that, man, like they should have won so many awards for that movie. It was like that was just done too good. Denzel should have walked away with best actor. Spike Lee should have walked away with best director. That was done very, very, very well.
I mean, my thing is though, like, what did we wait for their awards for though, man? Like,
exactly.
Forget their awards. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, well, first of all, I want to talk about the movie Malcolm X though, like for real. Like, I'm gonna give. So all right, so you were how old were you? Were you born when it came out?
Well, I think it came out in 92, and that's my birthday.
Okay, so you were just born, right? Mm. All right, so I want to give you a little. I want to kind of give you like a feeling of what X was like when it came out. I want to give you something, right? So I'm gonna give it through my lenses when I was a kid. So first of all, the X, just X, right? Just the move, like the symbol X was on every hat. Every shirt.
I remember that.
I had one of the dope. Keep in mind, I collect a lot of hats. Right? A lot of hats. I had one of the dopest hats, period, that I think like to this day, I'd be like, I wish I still had this hat. And I mean, I don't know. It was just dope to me, but it was just like, first of all, it had a big metal plate on the front of it. Like when you see me in the sun, that thing's blinding you. But it had the X in the middle of it. That thing was hard, bro. Like I love that hat, right? And then, just the proud. You had Public Enemy when he did the Fight the Power. No, that's right. That's
The Right Thing. That's
the right thing. My bad. But it was one of those moments to be proud to be Black. You know what I mean? Like, we had several moments, but at this very moment, it was it was one of those movies, like you really sat in the movie theater for 3 hours to watch this thing. The tapes, 2 tapes.
Remember that.
With VCR, it was 2 tapes that joint filled up. Mm-hmm. 2 tapes, right? I was in middle school when this came out. And we walked. Like, it was so dope to see all my friends, all my teachers walk from from the middle school to the movie theater to go watch this. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, it was just that dope. Like, just to see that, it was a moment, man. Like, I and I remember the moment, like just watching, because I used to watch that. I watched that movie over and over, over and over. My mother thought I was gonna be Muslim.
Wow.
That's how much I watched. I was 12 years old when this movie came out.
Wow.
And so I watched it. I remember watching it so many times. And you know, the one part that stuck to me when they was all standing outside the hospital. And
that was
exactly. Exactly. I was like, yo, like, and he said that's too much power for one black man to have.
Yeah.
You know, and that moment, that line was like, man, like Malcolm was, you know, Malcolm was that dude. But I think one of the most important lessons, one of the first things I saw, or like thoughts, like, because I watched it a lot, but the first thought was like, that was a man that he was born for a purpose. There's so many people who die for a purpose. Do you imagine how beautiful that is? How much of a beautiful of a life that is to know that you died for a reason? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you were here to make an impact. You know what I'm saying? Your life means something. Malcolm was like 30 something. Martin, 30 something. Nipsey, 30 something. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Fred, 21.
Right. Fred, 21. Like these like to be able to make an impact. That was the first thing I remember, that first thing, but that's one of the things as the time I started watching it over and over. I'm like, man, like he was here for a reason. He came here. I mean, he was Malcolm Little, just a street hustler. And he became an iconic, like, just he's a man that no one that will ever forget. They try to X him out of history.
Yeah, they still try to. They still try to.
They still do. And that's why I say it's ill for a 7-year-old to watch this, because if it was Malcolm, if it was Martin, it would be cool, right? But why is it not cool for a 7-year-old to watch Malcolm? You know, it's Malcolm.
I was referring to like mostly like, you know, just the some of the adult content in there.
Like what?
Some of it.
I mean, yeah, but it was like his life.
Like
it was his life. It was like, well, for one, we know the end result right now. He gets shot. He gets assassinated. I mean, but there's like, my thing is there's some adult themes in there that, you know, will the child be able to understand and grasp that right now?
He did. He came out all right.
Not all kids are the same, but I mean, that's good. I mean, my thing is, I'm not saying don't teach your children, especially at the age of who somebody like Malcolm X was. Of course, that's important. But seeing like the movie, that movie at that time of age, I don't know. But definitely they should know they should know their history. They should definitely know who Malcolm X was.
If my son and my daughter if I saw him watching it, I'm like, listen, you watching Malcolm? Let's sit down and watch this. Let me talk.
If it's on, if it so happens to come on and your child's there and watching it and they into it, okay. By all means. I'm not gonna say you can't watch this right now. No. But you know, introduce them to it. I would not introduce my child to that movie saying this is who Malcolm X was. I would take it in small doses at first to get them to know who it was. If we built up a rapport to where they really want to know more and they want to get deep, okay, let us watch the movie. But right now, first off the bat, I'm not going to sit you in front of a movie at 7 or whatever years old and let you watch a 3-hour movie. Like just Walt said, he found it. He had no business watching it, but he snuck and watch it. His parents was like, "Hey, you gonna watch this?"
Who kid watching SpongeBob and all these other cartoons out here?
True. Yeah, and that stuff right there. You gotta monitor that as well.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is that all I'm saying is that if I see them watching it, I'm glad that sparks their interest. That means I got a different kid.
I would be too. I
got a different kid. If my kid popped in Malcolm X,
I would be too.
My kid different. I got to be like, you know what? All right, let's kick it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying is that I know that my kid's mind is open.
Yeah.
To know what Black history is. You know what I'm saying? Like Black figures. Like, because my thing is, in my mind, as parents, you know, we're not going to be able to, you know, show our kids everything or shield them from everything. You know, I keep it in the buck. I stumbled across a lot of pornos.
I was gonna say, like, one of the things, like, my sisters, I have 4 older sisters, so like they would watch stuff, you know, and of course, you know, when you're a kid, you know, you gonna do what you're not supposed to do, or you gonna
always
not supposed to watch and stuff like that. And that's what happens. The thing about Malcolm X, one of the things that for real draw me to it, the thing of that scene of him doing that point, but also just the way that he talked, like no fear in that time, and he was killing them as far as like, nah, like the reason why we are like this is because of this, and it was like he was the first dude who had that kind of platform and that mouthpiece and was for real, like saying it to your grill, like, hey, this is crazy. This is ridiculous. Like, this is what's going on. And even, of course, the whole thing with the nation, I ain't even gonna go into all that, but
I ain't gonna go there. Yeah.
But even when it came to like him finding the truth, like going to Mecca and finding out like for himself what it meant to be a Muslim. Like, I'm not Muslim. Like, I look at Jesus all day, but I'm saying, like, I respect that he went to go find his own truth. Right. And there was people who just couldn't stand that. And that for real happens in the world. There's people who for real have that kind of impact, when they for real like start finding the truth and they start spreading it, like some people just can't take it. But the dude was fearless still. And he was like, nah, like the people deserve to know this. That's why he started working with more folk when he came back from his pilgrimage. It was like, and like even in the biography, yo, he touches on like how like all the men in his family when he was a child, like were all like slaughtered. His uncles, his father, his older cousins and stuff like that. So when you're growing up in that time, knowing that the men around you are just getting killed off by white folk, and you still trying to make you trying to find a way, right? So it's just like, it's like you said, like that kind of purpose and everything.
The best part about that, and Trump, did you tell what your favorite part about the Malcolm X movie?
My favorite part, man, definitely the scene where he did the point, man. That's one of them. Of course, I love the many speeches he had, dude. Just
you and I.
Yeah. You and I. The famous, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock, they didn't know us, and all that other stuff. So yeah, but just real nice, man. Real put together and everything. Real nicely put together. Actually, I've been meaning to take myself to go back and watch that movie, especially after that, since all the documentary on who killed Malcolm X.
Yeah, that was a good documentary, man. That was a good documentary. He said a lot of stuff straight.
Oh, it did say a lot of stuff straight. It had helped to open the case back up. Right.
You know what I like, and I'll move on to my first classic. The maturation of Malcolm Little. That's what I love about that movie. You gotta understand, I'm a big fan of movies that people come from the street to make it themselves into something legendary. That's why I love Nip so much. You know what I mean? That's why that's why I love Malcolm so much, because he came from the street. He came from the bottom. Imagine that, like you know, at certain points in your life, you just don't see that. You know what I'm saying? You don't see nobody coming from the street or coming from the gutter and making themselves into anything. In our culture anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see that though, it's a beautiful story. You know what I mean? Like it's, you know, you even think about Jesus' life. Jesus was born in the hood. You know what I'm saying? That he grew up to perform miracles, you know, as a man. Like certain points in your life, like you don't see nothing else. I was listening to Bobby Shmurda. Shout out to Bobby Shmurda, man. And he was talking about how as a kid, he was just wild. ADD, like he was just a wild kid. And in the street, all he was surrounded by was street people. That's all he knew was street. He don't see nothing else. And then one day they convinced him to make a song. And that song gave him a glimpse into a new world. And then he was put in a cage to be able to reflect on that new world. Now, keep in mind, he still got a lot of savage in him, but he still had a glimpse of a world that he thought he would never see. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, and there are certain points in their lives, they don't see nothing but red. But then that moment in your life when you see the light, it's a beautiful story, man. That's what I love about Malcolm. That's what I love about Malcolm X, man.